Thanks,
Madeleine West first hit the Aussie small screen back in 2000 as the beloved Ramsay Street fan favourite Dee Bliss. And after capturing the attention of the nation, she quickly became a widely adored star in the years to follow.
But it's her work away from the cameras that's become the most powerful. Madeleine is a vocal advocate for the safety of children, with her latest project giving practical advice to parents on how to start the conversation with family, friends and care providers around preventing child sexual abuse. Really important stuff. Lovely to see you, Madeleine West, live from the Gold Coast. As always, good to see you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us on today.
Now, Maddie, last time you were on the show, you had recently given birth to your seventh child. Got to catch up. How's everything going? How's the house with the 7 kids in there?
What can I say? It's actually this week, it marks 25 years since I was hit by a bus. And can I say, it's kind of like being hit by a bus every single morning. Oh. In the best possible way. It's rambunctious. It's a lot. So I have full empathy just how difficult it is parenting in this day and age, and how much help we all need to get the job done and keep our kids safe.
Is it getting to the point now we've trained them all to take care of each other and you can step away?
So sorry, that was my reaction.
I was just hopeful, only having 2 myself, that might happen.
Well, you know, we live in a different era where kids are socialised in a different way. You know, historically we'd lean into our village, into our family networks, and hence kids were responsible for each other. But our kids now have such extended social networks that the notion of them staying home and taking care of younger brothers and sisters isn't necessarily on the table. It takes quite a lot of bribing. Breaks the bank, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hey, let's get down to business. You're the voice of Project Paradigm. It's a resource called It's Never Too Early. Tell us how it came about and all about the new campaign. We need to know.
Yes, well, we launched this a year ago last week, which was timely because it was right before we saw the emergence of quite horrific reports of abuse being carried out in early daycare settings or early childcare education settings. So this toolkit, basically, it's an effort to provide an accessible resource for parents, for carers, for teachers, just the community at large, especially those who are tasked with caring for really little kids, about how to keep them safe. So it identifies risk, where risk lies. It helps participants to engage in really difficult conversations about child abuse prevention. And perhaps most importantly, it guides you on how to report and where to reach out for help. So it's a really empowering toolkit. And we spoke to parents at large and found out more often than not that parents are time poor. We're all time poor, so sitting down and actually manually reading a resource is tricky. Hence, we got some very generous funding and we've been able to transform it into an audiobook so you can listen while you're driving home from school or, you know, while you're on public transport or when you get those 5 minutes if you're cooking dinner or between work calls to really dive in and get the kind of access to information that I think as parents we all need.
And Madeleine, as horrific as those cases in daycare centres were, what it really did in a positive way is it woke us all up, I guess, to the potential dangers and what we as parents can do about it. What is the biggest misconception you find for parents and carers, because you mentioned that extended village, it could be grandparents as well, when it comes to talking to kids about child sexual abuse prevention?
Well, I think the trickiest realisation we've all come to, and it's been proven empirically, is that these conversations don't happen because more than 50% of parents, carers and grandparents, like you say, extended family, truly believe that childhood sexual abuse doesn't occur in their neighbourhood or in their town or in their community, whereas we know it does. 1 in 3 girls, 1 in 5 boys will experience child sexual abuse, and that's just the reported cases. So the true figures are astronomical. They're through the roof. And we know already that 38% of reported sexual abuse cases, the victims are children between birth and 14 years old. So this problem is just growing, especially now in this era of online engagement, where basically the online space is a predator's playground because not only does it allow access to kids, it allows lawlessness and anonymity. So when we hand a child a device, we're not just giving them access to the world, we're giving the world access to them. We need to start these conversations so that parents, carers and kids themselves know what to look out for, and if something does go wrong, where to report and keep themselves safe.
This is so frightening for every parent watching to hear. It really is. What's your advice for new parents trying to navigate this topic? Where does the conversation start and where does it go?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'm going to acknowledge that parenting is really hard. Parents really have to bear the burden of a lot of tricky minefields to navigate in terms of bringing kids up and keeping them healthy and safe. So first and foremost, to acknowledge that no one loves having a difficult conversation about issues like this, but we love our kids and their safety is our priority. That to acknowledge that we know our kids, so we're the best possible advocate for their well-being, and to remember to trust our instincts, to trust our gut, and to trust our kids. That if a kid reports something to you, it's very, very rare that a child will make up something like this, even if it starts with basic grooming, something that makes them feel a bit funny in the tummy, to open up those conversations from the get-go. Because at the end of the day, if we can be present with our kids, if we can be patient and listen to them, our kids don't need more gadgets, they need us. And the reality is that kids are now in this day and age, they've never had more than they have now, but they've also never been more at risk. So resources like this gives us the tools to ensure that we meet those risks before they happen, and just how to keep our kids safe in this modern era.
And it's funny, isn't it, that feeling that kids get, that feeling in their pit of their stomach that something's wrong. We get it as adults too, don't we? And just trusting that, and you hear that so often with so many parents. Madeleine, on top of everything you have going on in your life, the fact that you are doing this work as well is just so extraordinary. We're going to put all the details of where people can access the free audio book on our website, and all the details about Project Paradigm and all the important work that you're doing, and many others in this space. It is so important for people to read about. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to say thank you, because you've supported us through this entire journey, and I really appreciate it, because it is a difficult conversation to have. But the more we have these kind of conversations and remove the stigma, the better position we're in to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
It's so important, and we're here for you, Maddie. Thank you for that. Good to talk.